What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Business and Biceps. And you better wake your ass up, because on today's show, we're going to talk about completely detaching from approval. Ooh, that's hard for people, Fosco.
I love it. I think we hit on it in different angles so often on this show, and I hope we continue to do it, because if there's one thing that I can see people struggling with constantly, regardless of age, it's approval.
Constantly.
And approval clouds judgment when it comes to choosing your life and how you live it, you know?
Yeah, Mo, I think I'm excited to hear some of your thoughts on this, just because a lot of the things that happen to you are such in the media and so up in everybody in your face. It'll be interesting to hear your thoughts on this.
Yeah, I think that as we were talking a little bit before the show, I got some examples of just, like when you transition from, just the having so much of who you are wrapped up into how the people feel about you.
He's a box of content. He's got examples.
No, treasure chest on the ship.
Treasure
Chest of content. Get it right, Fosco.
How the fuck could he not have examples? What the fuck?
Of course. All right, it's brought to you guys by Square.com. Are you guys aware that they have invoicing systems at Square.com? Like high level.
Very efficient.
Very efficient. Here's the deal. What you guys aren't aware of is that Square does all of these other things other than just the card reader, which made them popular.
Sure.
Yes.
But the Square online invoicing system can make your business look top notch. Quick, John.
Yeah, I mean, when the key to, and I don't want to talk about another company, but I think it's fair to, it's like the key to a company getting as big as Apple, right, is like an ecosystem of things that link together. And what I love about what Square is doing, all the way down to being able to invoice through their system, is they're creating an ecosystem to do business.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Not to listen to music or download books, but to do business.
All aspects of business.
Correct.
Including the thing that we all love is the potential of loaning small business on top of it, which is an amazing thing. So you must go to Square.com and see all these things that they offer that you weren't aware about.
Yeah.
But what you are aware about is what time it is right now.
What time is that?
It's time for Fosco's World.
Yes.
Oh.
So today he's about 14 feet tall.
Is that because he did the prison workout?
Oh, no. That's because he came and picked me up and we went to the gym together. So those are points, right? And then we got to the gym, and the gym was nice. Those are the other points.
In every way.
And then we did the prison workout together.
Yep.
So there was a bond there. So he might be 20 feet today. And then when I left the gym, I said, man, it's like 85 degrees.
Which is amazing.
Yeah, so you might be 30 feet today.
There we
All
go.
right, so-
Today's a good day.
So none other than the 30-foot.
The 30-foot monster.
My man Donnie Fosco to the stage.
30
And he had some type of drink I've never seen before today. So 31 feet.
31
There
feet.
we go. Thank you, Mo. I appreciate that. I think that's a record.
It did set a record for your height.
My height, and I
You went
think
from 5'2" to 31 feet.
Yeah, this guy called
That's
me
a real
5'2"
increase.
last night. I mean, I've been doing growing in every way. So I can tell you guys this. All right, let's get into my world. I want to talk about something that I think it's a characteristic of myself that I think I've been trying to get better at, and it's something that I believe allows you to do more with people in business, and that's creating a level of basic unreadability. So when you walk into a room and you're talking to either your partner or employees or whoever it may be, people understanding where your head's at and where your emotions at and what you think of them is actually detrimental to you getting what you want to be done. So you can call it being unreadable, or you can call it camouflaging your thoughts and your opinions. But if you really want to get through to someone that, let's say, can't handle a tough message, right? You have to camouflage that message so they can hear it but it may not be directed towards them. And if they know they do these specific things that you detail in this message, and you're speaking to someone else who, let's say, can handle the message, then it's going to ring true in their head, and they're going to put the pieces together, but they won't feel like you're coming at them. So I find it to be not only an effective communication tool, but an effective management tool and an effective tool when you're doing deals. Because when you're doing deals with people and you're exchanging time for money or money for time, there's nothing worse than someone being able to look in your eyes, look at your body language, look at your actions, and know how you feel about that potential deal that's not done yet. Because then they can serve you up on a price, or then they can, if you're on the other side, make the price very small. So it's almost like general business behavior. We've talked about a poker face.
I was just going to say that's what it sounds like.
It's just almost the emotional uniform that I think we all should wear when we get on the business field, because it is the most effective tool when guiding people and when standing your ground. Part of like the eloquence and the smoothness of business is being able to stand your ground in an area where most people would not know what to do outside of being confrontational, right? Let's say someone quoted you something very high, and you can just look them in the eye and just say, thank you for the quote. I'm going to be getting 3 more, and we may be in touch. Basically what you're saying is get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
You fucking missed.
But you don't got to say it that way.
Right.
So be emotionless, essentially.
Being emotionless, and sometimes I even think it's good to throw emotion in there if it's curveball emotion.
I knew that was coming. Yeah, absolutely.
So when you make people think that something may sting you this way, but it doesn't, it's basically so you can get people in line, not for your own selfish reasons, but for the betterment of the project or business, your involvement. And that's based on, your judgment as a leader. But I'm a firm believer in not letting people know what you think.
Interesting. I think that I early in business, because that I wear my emotions definitely more outwardly. Always have. That's just kind of my personality. I started to learn that because when they can read you a mile away, they're absolutely going to chess game this way or that way. Especially when I was the guy paying people for these things at MP. It's like that could be the difference of a couple $100,000 in a deal that quick.
Absolutely.
Because they see, oh, he's into this. I can, because there's emotion tied to it. So there's a huge portion of this. I really tried to, as I got older, just really kind of have the same more mundane kind of feel to me in those moments because of that. But I definitely learned that early for sure. And I don't know. I think that that's where I would fight back and forth with it, because that's my normal inclination, is to show how I feel and not try to camouflage it or do what you said, which is a total strategy of business. That's not like a natural thing for me. I have to think about, oh, wait a second, don't look eager. Don't look this. You know what I mean? And like, it's just what it is. Somebody say, well, why don't you just like show how you feel, right? But that's not the best thing for the situation. When it comes to business, a different set of rules. So this is a lot of the things that were unique and different to me that I had to adapt to, that I don't necessarily like, I guess you could say, if that's fair to say.
Yeah, that's very fair to say. Yeah.
I would say that I've understood the advantage also of just kind of being like blah about everything. You know what I'm saying? Where a person could come with something I even feel good about. You know what I'm saying? And
you suppress it because you're like,
I even got a thing. I'll tighten my stomach up, and then I hold an image in my head of something that I don't like. And then, to force myself. Like, these are just, I've done that for a long time.
That's tactical stuff, though, Mo. That's what people want to hear.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So I'll tighten my stomach, and I'll just be like, let me hold this in the back of my head.
As he's smiling right now.
I really like this idea.
Yeah.
You know,
but you can't seem too eager. It makes sense.
I'll if somebody brings me something I like, and I know it may make me crack a smile, I'll curve the conversation real quick to get back to a space. Yeah, just to be like, all right, let me get back to somewhere where I don't want him to. I don't want to sort of like be on that point for a while to act like I'm digging, but I do like it. And so, just
a strategy.
Just
it's
a strategy, yeah. And but I think like because once you become too excited, then people can work you.
Oh,
you know what I'm saying?
For sure.
And then they put you like they become the driver of the car, you become the passenger, and then you'll go where they want the thing to go. You know what I'm saying? Then you'll just kind of like be on skates while they're, just rolling you around the ring. You know
Absolutely.
what I mean? And that's just a bad. But I think that's a bad position for anybody to be in.
Yeah, it is.
When you're excited, I mean, as a sales guy first, the second you sense excitement, your next move is to go for information, right? Because when two people are at a table trying to get something done, my position is I want to give you no information. If you give me one piece of information, now I have a baseline of how I can structure my deal to get the best for me. So if someone's excited, oh, this sounds great. Yeah. What'd you pay last time you did it? I want to come in. I want to give you a fair deal. Oh, it was only $25,000. Okay, I know.
They tell you exactly what you want to hear.
Immediately where I can get them because they're stoked on it. They tell me what they paid last time, and they're telling me I'm better. Okay, I could probably go for 30. 25 is my drop. So I think a big part of this is trying to be the receiver of information. I always talk about extracting. If people want to talk, bro, that is such a skill. Just let them sit back, and you just sit there with a fucking poker face like I'm not impressed, and just keep. If they'll talk for 20 fucking minutes,
just let them talk.
Just let them talk.
They'll tell you everything, huh, John?
And then just say, okay, I'll get back to you. And then you didn't give them shit. They don't know where the fuck you're at, what you're thinking.
But you're getting the whole strategy.
Oh, well, what do you think about it? I'll get back to you. I'm gonna give it a day or two.
I'm gonna digest everything you just said, then get a strategy to win.
Yeah, but it keeps you on home base.
Yeah,
absolutely.
It doesn't keep you. Doesn't make you vulnerable.
Yeah, which I think that some people are probably listening, and that I'm gonna pose the other. They'll think, well, why do I always have to be on the? And this is what I used to think, and I understand it, but I'm trying to, for the content standpoint, It's like, okay, we're having a conversation about this or that. Why can't I show if I'm excited about something? Why do I always have to be chess gaming? Why am I always? It's just that business.
You want to pay more for things.
Well, but what I'm saying is that's the reality of the business setting. That's what I'm trying to explain. Is that I didn't realize that's how the rules were to higher level business guys that I was dealing with early. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna stick.
That's
you.
why they call them sharks.
Exactly. That's kind of my point. I wanted to kind of get that out for people to understand that it's not the same as you're just hanging out with your boy John in a personal setting, and you can show excitement about this movie that you like. That's not how it operates. But some people still operate that way, and they get fucked because of it.
It's just like this. You can almost break it down to poker. Imagine a person getting excited every time they had a good hand.
Exactly.
And you're playing at the table.
Yeah.
People fold, or whatever it may be. Or if you get a shitty hand or something shitty, just, oh, man, I'm in the dumps right now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you can almost just say, with the game. And I think that you always say like, business is a game. But I don't think that we probably need to report. We probably need to say that more.
I agree.
That business is a game.
With rules.
Yeah.
Regulations.
Absolutely.
You're either playing it or you're getting fucking played, bro.
Or most people are getting played.
Of course.
And have no idea that there's a game being played.
Right.
And then they're mad when they're not good at it.
Yeah.
And
straight up.
Here's one thing I'll say in closing, and we talk about this all the time, and I want people to practically think about this. A question you're going to come across if you do business often is, "What's your budget?" And
they just asked us yesterday. We were on the phone.
And here's one thing.
John's salivatory glands start to excrete as soon as he hears that.
Do you understand? I have the same feeling.
But here's one thing I want people to notice. When someone says, "What's your budget?"
How much can I take you for?
if they say, "Is it 5 to 10?" and you say, "Yeah, it's 5 to 10." There is a 99% probability whatever they quote you at is going to be between 9,500 and 10,000.
Of course.
So people think, oh, well, I told them 5 to 10. No, fucking A, you told them 10. and they're probably going to try to get you for 12. So if someone asks you what's your budget, listen, the answer is the same every time. I'm looking for the most value at the cheapest price, and that question is not for me.
John's answer yesterday was the closest to $1 that you can get. He actually said that.
That was my answer.
And that was wasn't it, John?
Yeah.
And what the lady say? She goes, "Whoa."
Listen to me. So I had to start making soft threats.
Yeah.
As soon as they,
What's a soft threat look like, Mo? I want to hear this.
what is a soft threat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know what a hard threat is.
Who else can do this job?
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Brother, listen to me. People get a lot of sense when you say, "Hey, I can shop this thing down the street."
Of course.
Then it's more, how can I keep your business?
Of
And then when I'm in this space of how do I keep your business, now I'm figuring out how to save you money, just so you don't go
Now
down
I'm
the
working.
Not take you for it.
Come on, bro. You know what I'm saying? So I'll show you all an email. I had an email earlier this morning from somebody who asked me what was my budget.
So good. But when did that become okay?
What do you charge? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
Like your budget shouldn't change from customer to customer.
Exactly.
What do you charge?
Exactly.
If Jeremy walked in here and he said, "I want an ice cream shop bill,"
Right.
you're not gonna size him up and say, "I think I could work him for a
Right.
little bit more."
You quote it out.
Quote it out, bro.
John, before we transition out, as the main sales guy, when somebody gives you a budget,
They're dead meat.
exactly.
They're
That's what I
dead.
That's what I want to hear. Want everyone to hear.
Because what they just told you, number one, is they're going to buy. If they have a budget, that means money's on the table.
yeah.
Now I'm going to figure out how to push it up, right?
Yeah, of course.
It's the dumbest thing you can ever tell someone.
Okay.
So-
That's how I wanted to close it.
And that is that. And let's move on to Cory Gregory time.
All right. Well done, John. That was
Yeah,
good.
appreciate that. Yeah.
And I think that's going to help a lot of people, actually.
hope so.
A ton. All right. So on my notes, I had a note called Vacation Blues. Now, what most people probably think that is.
Must be so hard to go to St. John.
Yeah, no, hold on. You're going to like this, John. Yeah. Most people think that means you're coming home from vacation and you're blue. In my world, or the way that my brain works, which is a little bit weird, I'm sure, not to you guys, but is that getting out of my routine and going on vacation, I feel that way. Because part of what we talked about a little bit in the last episode or a couple episodes is like this, I'll call it like level of focus that I'm driven to keep because I know what it yields, and I'm trying to tighten it down because of the dreamer thing I talked about on the last episode that I don't want to ever be. It's so uncomfortable for me past literally like 72 hours. Like I can deal with a long weekend. I think it's good for me. And I try to tell this to Rachel because it's really hard to explain this. I never want it to be construed, if that's the right word, construed with that I don't want to be with my family. I think you probably fight this too, Mo. But here's the reason, and I was talking to these guys a little bit about it yesterday. Here's the reason why I think it's like this. I like my everyday life.
Right.
I'm not running from anything. Like, I think that's what it comes down to. I love what I do. I'm okay with the amount that I work. I get to see my family and be at their games and do those things. To me,
You're happy.
I am happy. And so when I'm taken out of that, even though I'm in a beautiful place that I would probably love to vacation at more when I'm retired, if that's ever a thing, which I don't know that it is, but I'm unhappy, I think, because I'm out of that zone where I feel ultimately happy. So it's a weird, really weird fight for me. And it's tough because I get in 2 days before I leave and 2 days when I come back, I'm like kind of a dick because I'm just so frustrated.
So 2 days before you leave to go on vacation?
Yep. And
Gotcha.
2 days before, like a lot of people were excited. I'm like,
Mad you have to leave?
yeah, I'm frustrated. But it's never because I don't want to spend time. It's because I already feel like I'm cool with what's happening to a point where I really feel whole, to be honest with you guys. And so it's like, that's where I have this like real internal struggle that I try not to showcase too much because I don't want my kids that they're so young, they can't get that. Oh,
No.
Dad doesn't want to be on vacation with us. Like,
Right.
fuck, what the fuck, right? That's not really
They're too
what
innocent, yeah.
Yeah, dude, that's not really what it's about because that's not how I feel. But it's like, I feel like honestly, this is going to sound real fucked up. People will be like, what's wrong with this dude? I'd be happier and if I just let them go on vacation and have a good time I know they want to spend time with me, and I still got to do what I think was better for the long term of things. And I know that's probably not even the right way to think, but that's literally what it feels like in my head. It's a fucked up struggle that I have.
Let's think about vacation though, because as adults, what do? Right? You go, you find activities, you find a beach, right? You do. You probably have some drinks,
Sure.
and then that's on repeat
For a
and
week.
that's everything that, from my understanding, I can speak for myself and from what I know of you guys, that we don't stand for.
Or do.
Right. So yeah, the locale could be gorgeous. It could be amazing. But
and it was.
Here I am kind of being a degenerate.
Yes.
And
Because that's just what's happening.
It's just what that's
what it is.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's supposed to be okay, but
that's the truth, John.
yeah,
that's how I feel.
No, yeah. Yeah.
Why am I? That's why I feel fucked up.
But for me, I don't want to go be degenerate on a beach. You know what I'm saying?
People are like, "What's wrong with this guy?"
Well, yeah, no. And when you said, I enjoy my daily life.
I really do.
That's where I think what we do a good job of this show is talking about, your mental health and your physical health. And I know everyone here works out. We just got done working out. And when you are regimented in your physical health and you're going after it mentally every day, that's a good day.
Dude,
That's a fulfilling fucking day.
Dude.
I don't need palm trees and a beach, although there is some outside that I like.
Yeah. That's a plus.
Yeah, to feel like, oh, I'm away. Sure, it's cool to take a break, but yeah, the culture of vacation is borderline degeneracy.
And I struggle with it. Bad.
Oh, yeah, I think, but as you all were talking, it's just like people who live on purpose, and I think we can identify probably from an entrepreneurial standpoint or anybody who has a lot of control over their time.
Yes.
And when you've decided how to spend your time, and then you reach a point to where you get the results,
That's the thing.
And we've been able to experience some results. And so we start to look like you start to look at time different. And is this the best use of my time? And then you start to realize, like, man, 4, 5, 6, 7 days, I could be doing X. And then there's a flip side of the coin when you were talking. I asked myself, is that a bit selfish towards everybody else?
That's what I fight.
But it made me think, like, I was like, is that selfish? And then I said, I don't know. I don't know if it is.
I don't know. That's why I brought it up as a topic.
Maybe it depends on the activities. Maybe it depends on the time you're spending.
No, so
well, I think that's what I told Rachel. I need to be a little bit more involved because I'm so busy doing all this other stuff. She just books this stuff and makes it happen, and I'm trying to play, good husband. But I have to be a little bit more involved in what's happening so I can balance it better for me.
That's what I was thinking at. So your family for the entire year, that's gonna sound bad.
Mm-hmm.
They do everything around you.
No, they do, and that's why.
And then they ask you for a week.
Yeah. Well, really about 4 weeks, to be honest with you. Yeah, we do 3 or 4, but still, agreed, Mo.
That's 1/12 of the year.
hey, yeah. So it coming back to what we talked about yesterday, right? So it's
we're almost at 10% right there.
My point exactly.
Hey,
so that's why. So hey, that's why I brought it up, and I feel like a dick. I'm
telling
telling you,
you're not a dick, bro. I'm a dick. I know what being a dick is. I live I'm a fucking asshole. Okay, you're not a dick.
Hey, I don't want to join.
But I knew you. But I knew you guys could identify.
Oh, can I? I mean, I try to look at it both ways. Like
the percentage, I'm really fucked up though.
I say,
John,
I say to be considerate. I was like, oh, all right, you want to be considerate?
Yeah.
And I say, well, because you know what? Because I was on vacation and I was like, after 3
texting
days,
me that I'm on vacation and I'm doing business. I remember you texting
man,
me.
listen to me. So, but I was going to the gym just to do business so they wouldn't see me, and then I hurried and get back home.
He's doing some dips,
like I'm pushing out emails early in the morning. Then I'm coming back, and then I'm like, I'm enjoying. And I do understand what you're talking about because my daughter's naive, so she wants to do the go-karts and the extreme air and all this stuff. So she's innocent. And then Ashley, she doesn't work, so it doesn't. There's no this is a relief for her from what she normally does. But for me, this is like a task, and I feel like and obviously we always compare it to what we could be doing. So we value everything that we're doing on that vacation. That this is a waste of my time in comparison to what I could be doing.
Well, here's what it comes down to, Mo, and this is where I try to understand this, is that Jaden just wants to ride go-karts with her dad.
That's it. It's that simple.
It's that simple. And that's what I have to process is like, my kid just wants me to snorkel with him and look at sea turtles.
That's pretty
And
awesome.
that's what we did. And it is amazing in the moment, right?
Sea turtles are impressive.
Dude, super impressive. We
Large,
saw all kinds of
large-
stuff,
large
man. We,
mammals, I think.
yeah. And it was, so it's like, it's one of those things where that's the memories they want as kids growing up. We talk about all these things that we went through as kids, not having our dads in our lives or, having fucked up relationships. It's like, that's the shit they want to remember, dude. That's the shit they won't remember.
I tell you like this, my daughter, after we were together for a week or so, after we jumped out of our team, and after my daughter kind of like spends time with me, I can just even tell like the physical closeness of like wanting to walk around the compound because it's at a resort. You know
Exactly.
what I'm saying? So, oh, Dad, let's go ride bikes. And so stuff that I know she would have never asked or will ask in Ohio. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like even simple stuff. We go to a restaurant.
And that's kind of sad.
Bro, super sad, because I tell like this, right? So, and this has nothing to do with anything, but this is for people who have kids. And her basketball coach, one day she kept coming to me, and this one she was like, she was a little smaller, and she was like, pick me up, and she was jumping on me. And after probably for about 7-8 minutes, I was like, yo, chill out, you know what I'm saying? But like in a playful way. And her basketball coach had grabbed me. He was like, let me talk to you real quick. He was like, man, never do that to your daughter, right? And I was like, what the fuck you talking about? He was like, look, he said, I got 3 daughters. And he said, at some point, they stop even asking you to be involved. And he was like, quit shutting off moments that they want to spend with you. And so,
Great advice.
bro, never in my life had I heard that. But as he said
Like he checked you out of nowhere.
but I can see my daughter getting older and some stuff that she used to ask to do,
She ain't going to do no more.
it's gone forever.
Well, I see that with AG, and then I have Andon still from a boy's standpoint,
Yep.
and I see what Andon's still trying to do. All he want to do, throw the football while I'm sitting in the front room, throw to this, and it's like I try to I just do it. Anyway, we need to we just to transition on to the treasure chest pirate Maurice.
Box of
Barrett.
content.
Yeah,
Yes. I don't know why I was thinking about the white zebra.
it ain't white zebra butt lifetime yet.
Yeah.
It's time for the black pirate.
There we go.
Let's
so,
go.
So now he's kicking a black guy.
Is that
That's
a thing?
racist. I always knew you were racist.
yeah, no. So we're on the energy program.
Oh, is that
All
fueled?
right,
Is
get
that
out
fueled by the
your
gym?
Max
No.
effort muscle energy product.
Yeah. No. So
What is happening right now?
Look like he trying
I
to
don't know.
finish.
What the fuck are you talking about?
He trying to finish the drink at the bar before they close.
All right,
No.
go ahead, Mo.
So we were talking about this yesterday, and I mean, yesterday whenever we were recording, right?
Yep.
And I was talking about the purpose of energy and people who want to do business. And there's typically, when people believe that you're an entrepreneur, they typically want to pitch you an idea about something, or they have an idea that they're trying to shop to you, right? And or if you may be going to ask for a promotion, you may be trying to engage to take yourself from one level to another. And a lot of times I'm not sure that people are self-aware that the energy that they bring to a conversation or to another person, be it like either a low level of energy, be it a low voice, a low, like sort of like a low body stance, your shoulders, your posture, or just your energy in general. I'm not sure that they're aware of that. You know what I'm saying? And all that stuff symbolizes a lack of confidence. You know what I'm saying?
1,000%.
Or even to the point where if you answer your phone, and if you answer your phone and somebody answers it and the energy sound low, it doesn't like cause for a person to be energetic talking back to you.
I'll do
And
it.
so-
Hello.
Yes, it's just real low, and you don't
true.
want to engage, and you don't want to do nothing. But if you call somebody, if you talk to somebody, and hey, what John, what's going on, man? Oh, enjoy myself. Everything's great. How you doing?
Right.
That kind of sets a tone for things. And so I just was saying this, like to just make people more aware of just the subtleties inside of engagement and just the social engagement, whether you calling somebody, talking to somebody on the receiving end, walking into a building, walking into an environment. Like, you know, I walked into the gym and just even we seen the guy at the desk just making jokes with him. Hey, what's going on? Hey, these guys bothering me. Get these guys away from me.
Yeah, exactly. I said, these guys are criminals. Get out of the fucking gym here.
He says these guys are fucking up the atmosphere.
Yeah. Yeah. We were just trying to fucking look at the mirror and...
Yes. So, but everywhere I go, but I've even learned to do that. You know, I walk into places. Hey, how you doing? What's going on?
Give them the pearlies.
Yeah, just try to set the tone and set the energy, and so you make people smile. You pick up the energy, and like your ask or whatever you're trying to do is well received because your energy's right. You know what I'm saying? Or hey, let me grab a door for you. Hey, how you doing? Hey, excuse me. Hey, thank you. You know, just those soft things that we've seemed to lose or have lost over a period of time, and all that stuff. I'm telling you, just those little.
That's a winning intangible I've been doing forever that people miss constantly.
But it starts with the energy. You know, the energy, the attitude. And you can go ahead and pass it off to
No,
you.
I want to give credit to what you're saying because when we walked in the gym this morning, it's exactly what you did. Greeted the guy at the desk, very friendly. When we got downstairs, and you started making jokes. So I'm in that gym twice a day, every day, and I know the fucking vibe of it. So when you started kind of playing with that dude down there, what I noticed is there's one girl who works out, doesn't say a fucking word. She started joking with another dude.
Yeah.
Then after that, another dude who I ain't never heard peep, I never heard his voice, he started joking with another dude. So when you're talking about
It's
energy, it absolutely spreads because all of a sudden things are light, right? For example, there ain't a 255-pound black guy pumping out. You're like nice, you know what I'm saying? And then people feel comfortable.
Yes.
And then they start, you know, and then I don't talk, right? And then I'm talking to you, and it all feeds off each other. And you're absolutely right, you know, to bring it back to where you started. When you walk in somewhere and you open your eyes and you look at someone dead in their fucking eye and you speak with conviction and you enunciate your words, you're just and you hold your posture correctly and you're attentive when others speak, that says so much about you without you having to say a word about yourself.
Yes, sir.
People don't understand that the reading mannerisms is so important with how you operate around people. Like that's something that what's interesting about what you said too, Mo, I'll go to the second part is I came over and you said that to me about these guys messing up, and I went over and said something to
what he
Jason
said.
and those guys, and they were laughing, and then John sees those other people, literally just you messing around like that. But here's what's interesting. I guarantee because of you being a big imposing factor with a previous criminal history, you probably almost feel like you have to, and maybe I'm wrong, pull this down a little bit to lighten it up because of people's intimidation factor. Is that true?
To
some degree?
In different environments.
Yeah.
I've kind of, that's yes in different environments, depending on who I'm talking to.
Sure.
But just in general now, I understand the benefits of it. I've understood, like, I just know.
Being the guy who walks in the room and is felt in a positive, enthusiastic way, back to the Carnegie stuff I've studied forever, is always wins. Always wins.
Bro, everybody.
That's why I talk to all kinds of people all the time when I'm out running around.
Everybody wants to be around good energy.
Yes.
Everybody wants to be around somebody who's happy. Everybody wants to be around that guy. Nobody wants to be around a guy who has a bad attitude or who's like, I got to pick you up to motivate you. You know what I'm saying? I gotta roll you. Or if you had, like, even if you could take that to your ideas, like, you know, if you're talking about something that, John, I want you to invest money with me, but I'm talking about it in like a real meek way.
Right.
I'm talking about it like I'm
You're
not
like,
even
you
excited
sound
about
excited.
this. Yeah, so I'm about to take my money and give it to you, or you want me to partner up with an idea that you're not even excited about. You know what I'm saying? And so just you can take that one home with you. The energetic person who can articulate themselves, who can have great mannerisms. People want to be around that dude. You know what I'm saying? Just think about some of your. Tell me one of your favorite products, favorite brands, who has a spokesperson who you're affiliated with, who has like a low and mundane attitude that you really want to be around. Outside of the clear eyes, the guy, you know, the little clear eyed dude with the voice.
I like the Geico Gecko, you know. And he's kind of,
but he's
not
funny,
very
at least.
imposing. Yeah, he's a funny guy. He's got a British accent. And
All the
But
things.
think about though what we've talked about on the show. To point, it's like you talked about emotions in business being a detriment, potentially.
Right.
You talked about emotions and this being the way that you can light up the whole room and get what you want.
Yeah.
So in
Right?
context, so let me take.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. But they have to be segmented. That's kind of my
Yes,
point
yes.
of articulating this, because you have to understand when to flex them
But I
and
think
when not to.
I think identifying when I get into the game of business that goes into a whole different mentality
Sure.
in comparison to just my personality coming into a space. That's,
Yeah.
I guess that's what I'm
Agreed.
saying.
And that's what I'm not very good at. I
And
walk
neither was
around
I.
with the same
opposite
demeanor.
way.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
John, you bring the business into the personal. Accurate to say.
Absolutely.
And I was bringing the personal enthusiasm that I always had as the gym guy that's helping people into the business, and it didn't work as well. So I had to learn how to separate those
Yeah.
as you're trying the opposite way.
I'm really not trying, but I probably should start.
This guy. All right, time for butt life.
Just being honest.
So good.
All right, everyone, keep on sending us questions at Biz and Biceps on Instagram and Twitter.
Q1
If we
butt
use-
life.
If we use your question on the air, we'll send out a free T-shirt. Q1. I have a consulting and training business in Columbus, Ohio. I'm having trouble explaining and marketing what we do differently. All of our clients say it is the best training or consulting they've received, but I want to grow the business more. How can I do a better job of advertising this?
Okay, so if all your clients say it's the best training or whatever
And you'll know
they've
why.
ever received, that is your why.
Yeah.
Right? Just ask them why it's the best they've ever received. If they've received more than one, if it's their first go round, well, you may have an issue. But there's nothing more powerful than a customer/client testimonial.
True.
So if you're having trouble defining your differentiators, talk to your clients that say you are the best. The answer lies in them.
Yeah, so there's a reason why surveys exist, right? So it's essentially you need to do testimonial / hey, you had consulting in the past. Why are we different in your opinion? And do that times 5 or 10 clients. Take those ideas or thoughts, put them together in your new pitch deck, essentially, or whatever you're doing to create this marketing stuff for your business. I think that's exactly the reason. What's interesting, though, is it would be I don't know that if you don't know at all why you're different is a little intriguing to me if you're that good.
Well,
right? John?
maybe you're not that good.
Well, okay. But I think the tactical stuff we just said is good advice, I believe.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mo.
No, I would have said the same thing.
Yeah. By the time you go third, Mo, sometimes it's tough, right?
Yeah, I mean, especially when you hit the point.
Q2, butt life.
I recently started with a company where there was plenty of room for growth. A gentleman at my gym noticed my hard work and offered me a job doing truck routes. The money is much better, and he hinted at having a part in taking over his business in the future because of his age and money not being an issue for him. What are your thoughts on how to handle this decision?
Okay, first off, the guy's a fucking joker, and if he fucking wants to give you part of his fucking business to drive a goddamn truck, say, put it in writing, son. I mean, seriously, like, if someone's gonna like, hey, you could drive a truck, and I'm good on money. Yeah, he'll be the first motherfucker I ever meet in the world that says, hey, I got enough money, and this thing that's making so much money, I'm gonna hand it to you because I just met you, and you look like you can drive a truck.
Because your bicep routine's amazing.
Get the fuck out of here, bro. Get the fuck out of here. What?
So
Cory,
I'll take
go.
it. So let's say
The
for
fuck
the
outta
spirit
here.
spirit of the question that it is true.
Oh,
John cannot drink another drink, John. John cannot understand that this is true. So what I'm saying is, let's say it is. I do agree with John. Make sure and get it in writing.
he ain't inviting you to his party. I've mentioned this before.
And get all this stuff down, because right now it's just fictitious. It's not real.
You can drive a truck, so you can inherit the business. I don't know you.
I would test out to see if it's real. Get it in writing. I don't know what else to say. That's interesting though. Shit happens though.
I'm 35.
Oh,
And
it's 2019.
And I've tried to disprove one statement that has held true over time. And the statement is, if it's too good to be true, then it probably is.
Yeah.
And so
Treasure chest of
that
content.
sounds
Box
like
of
that sounds like
content.
one of those
Burlap
like,
bag of
all right,
content.
That one's tough. There's some
Just
shit
like
you don't know about.
I go to the gym. I see a guy who works out pretty tough. Seems like a solid guy. I'm going to give him an equity stake in my company.
Get the fuck out of here.
All right, next question.
Oh, fuck. Q3 butt life.
Can you guys talk about strategy? How do you know when to change your approach versus continuing to push forward? I have struggled with setting a goal but not having a roadmap to achieve it.
Is it working?
Results, yeah.
Is it working? So I think the real test is if you have a strategy, and that's why I love analytics and numbers. All you got to do is look at them. If it's working, you continue on with it. If it's not working, bro, that's where you got to either get with yourself or get with your team. You got to get creative. You got to look at new ideas. We talk about it all the time on here. You got to look at culture. You got to look at behavior. You have to look at your industry. You have to look at your competitors, and you have to see what's hot. And as opposed to saying, oh, I hate this company that's leading the way in my industry. They're so fucking stupid. They're doing something right if they're leading the fucking industry and your strategy isn't working. So at the end of the day, analytics and numbers will tell you if your strategy is money. If it's not, you need to go back, you need to get creative, and you need to try something else.
Yeah, I think that that's the difference between what John talks about all the time, like your emotional idea or thought that is not yielding a number that doesn't have an analytic to it. And when it does have an analytic to it, if it doesn't work, it doesn't fucking work. It's just the way it is. That's a tough one for a lot of people. Well, and a lot of times to point in business, like a lot of the things that I did was on gut feeling, which we talked about in a different show. A lot of things went in the right direction. I wasn't really deep in analytics. Since I have been, really since I worked with John, everything's gone even better because I obviously am more intentional about it, but I never really operated that way. I mean, I just didn't. That's just an honest opinion, and things continue to still go well, but maybe not as well as they are now or could have because I didn't have that approach. So that's a growth with me. Like I've never in my entire career looked at month over month numbers like I do, or looked at day to day numbers like I do. And a lot of that is based around what I just watched my business partner do, which is cool.
No, I think it's all results, and he can directly connect his activity that he does or with that excuse me that is within his written strategy that he currently has, and say, hey, does this help to drive revenue or not? Yeah. I think it's that simple. Yep. And I think like when you really get into business, people who function at a high level understands that when I do A, B, and C, it equals D. You know what I'm saying? And if A, B, and C are through time, if A, B, and C have a disruption in them, let me correct B because B is outdated, but A and C still works. Yep. And a lot of times you don't have to scrap whole plans. You know what I'm saying?
No, you just got to audible.
Yeah.
Omaha.
But people think that, hey, this isn't working. Let me scrap my whole approach. You know, and a lot of times it's just tweaking. But people don't want to get into numbers though. Are people like the average person? If you ask them like, how do you produce money? Or how do you drive revenue? Like how do you connect from idea to sale? Yeah. And just say, can you tell me all of the behavior that gets you there? You know what I'm saying?
And I can now for the first time of my life, probably.
But there's a ton of people who couldn't tell you how to do it. How do you acquire a customer? How do I, if I'm a video guy, how do I take my talent to the market? And through the process of doing that, like what works and what doesn't work, what do I need to keep? But that whole process is a discovery process, which requires you to work, and just people don't want to work. But that's part of the old episode, skipping the process. If you skip this process, then you never discover. But once your willingness to want to make it happen is connected to like this being real to you.
It takes a while, Mo.
Yeah, but that's partially that's it.
Yeah, agreed. Good job, guys. Time for the main event. All right, cool. So this is something we talk about often, but I don't think people can hear enough. To your point, John, earlier today we spoke about this. I was watching this YouTube video and it talked a lot about it. The way they framed it up was detaching from man's approval, which I'll be more politically correct and just detach from approval in general.
That's pretty politically correct.
I thought so, John.
Yeah,
I'm out here trying to be politically correct. Not really, but
we can keep it at man's approval.
Yeah. So the key is I think that this might be the biggest limiting factor that we hear about the most of everybody that listens to the show or just people we know, because I can confidently say that all of us at points of our lives or currently are probably super detached from this. It might creep in from time to time because everybody's human, but at the end of the day, that's how we got here.
Sure.
Because we literally, like, the percentage of giving a fuck about what other people think or family, friends, whatever is extremely low.
Yeah.
And that is a lot of people's problem.
I think success for most people, it is a vision, right? It's this vision, and it's this thing that, like, even when you're 12 years old, like, you imagine, I want a mansion, right?
Yeah.
And in your 20s, you know, it's a vision, and if you do have the ability to achieve some form of success or high level of success, you realize once you get there that, like, the road to get there, if you made it, was fucking marred with the process of you eliminating so many people. That's one thing all successful people have in common is they eliminate people, and they're misjudged for eliminating people.
Oh, yeah.
You're viewed as heartless. You're viewed as whatever. You know, you don't kick it with your old friend anymore. You don't even talk to him. Well, my old friend is a negative distraction to me. So as opposed to letting the feeling and the thought and the discussion back home affect me in my goals, I shut him out. He's out. He's gone, because I have something that's more powerful. Right? So when we talk about approval, man's approval, women's approval, whatever it is, this comes in the form of, sure, it comes in the form of your parents or your boss or your friend or whatever, but it's like, talk to someone who has some form of success, and they will be able to detail to you how many fucking people they had to cut out of their life for this exact reason. And it is, I got like a hit list of motherfuckers that just got whacked. You know, like
You got a mob list.
But they had to get whacked for me to sit at this table right now.
Yeah, straight up.
If they were in my life, okay, yeah, I'd have them, but they'd be talking about the bar. They'd be talking shit. They'd be, what the fuck is that doing for me? Whack. You know what I'm saying? So the approval, you know what I'm saying? I ain't looking for it, and that's why, you know, that's why I think I can continue to increase, because it's about what I want. And if people love you and support you, which are the people who you should keep in your tight circle,
Which is a small amount of people, by
yeah,
the way.
dude, they're on board. They love you for you, and that's the approval that you can accept. I wouldn't even say look for, but accept. But these motherfuckers who want to say this or say, dude, fucking whack them figuratively.
I try to tell my kids already, especially with AG being in 8th grade right now, because the click stuff and all that's really starting to happen, right? I said, just keep in mind that it doesn't matter at all. It feels like it matters right now, but you're going to talk to maybe 3 of these people when you're older, max, out of everyone you meet between now and when you graduate high school. That is literally the truth. Think about how many people from high school
I don't talk to any.
There you go, John. How many people from high school you talk
2.
to? And I'm 5 or under on a regular basis. Actually, probably 2 or on a regular basis, and maybe 5 over the whole year. And so it's like, that is the reality of what happens. So taking a lot of value in that, young, old, whatever, these people, they're not going to be in your life. At the end of the day, you got immediate family, tight circle, and that's it. And even sometimes those people will creep in with some thoughts. And that, then here's what I always think. Sometimes they're doing it, all times, I think they're doing it because of their own insecurities, not because of us or or you. So if you can essentially outsmart it because there is a person that's a family member that you do love and don't want to whack, to John's point, just understand
Figuratively.
figuratively.
Metaphorically.
But just understand,
I'm not a murderer.
they don't have in their head what you have in your head. And so you can't, even if they say it, you can't take value in it. It has to be completely detached, which is kind of my point. Mo, what I want to throw to you is, you've had so much media pressure, really, I mean, your whole life, to be able to detach from what sport. That's what's so crazy about Maurice. Me and John fuck up, it ain't on SportsCenter. Mo fucks up tomorrow.
A couple of mine have been.
Yeah, if Mo fucks up tomorrow, it's on SportsCenter, straight up. And so understanding that that's a thing, which I keep saying that, I don't want to, but understanding that that's not reality for most people. But how have you been able to detach from that level of attention, good, bad, or indifferent?
couple ways, but I wanted to say something in
Good.
reference to what you all were talking about earlier. And I just wanted to, like, if a person's sitting listening and saying, hey, how do I know if I'm out for people's approval or I live my life based upon other people's opinions? And I remember back to when I wanted to be like super successful and, you know, get a certain car, a certain house. And I was doing it, and I would always in my head visualize how other people would see me. You know what I'm saying? Which
Yeah.
is huge. I would say, hey, when I have this car and I ride past, you know, these girls over here, they'll feel like this. And I didn't even realize I was signing up to that. You know what I'm saying? And there's a lot of people who feel like if they get a thing, and you're basically whoring yourself out to that mentality.
Exactly.
And you don't realize that you're building your image based upon other people's opinions.
Becoming a slave to it as well.
Becoming a slave to it. I need to do these things. And so then a lot of your behavior is driven to do that. And then you're like, man, you know, I never feel good enough because you're shopping it. Now I got to be the cool guy to my friends. I got to be the cool guy to the women. And I think if you understand where you're at now, a lot is like self-fulfillment. And knowing yourself and you developing yourself. And that's kind of like how things happen with me. And we were talking before the show, and I remember when I had lost football, you know what I'm saying? And I lost my social status with how people viewed me, you know what I'm saying? And so when I lost football, that's when the drug dealing had replaced it, because in the black neighborhood, if you're a drug dealer, you have the same esteem as an athlete.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? And so I got to say more of the street life was driven out of wanting the esteem of other people rather than the
ego.
necessity. Yeah, the ego. Rather than the necessity of I have to have money to do something. Because when I look back on it, I didn't have to do that. But I'm showing you how deep you can get into something all for the approval of other people. You know what I'm saying?
That's interesting, yeah.
Oh, bro, it's the truth.
Yeah.
I think more people get into things for the approval of other people than they do for following their own gut.
100%. But now what do? I graduated out of it because you get broken down. You say, I've lost myself, or how did I get here, or how am I in this space? I didn't want to do it. And it started from not knowing who you are, because when you get to know who you are, you tend to be like, okay, I don't like this. I do like that. Like, no matter what it is, if we're sitting in South Carolina, Ohio, Cory going to still eat a banana, a sweet potato, and do what he do. And it's not going to be driven off of what me and John do. You're doing your thing.
Yeah.
John going to be John.
Yep.
Whether you like it or not, he's going to do his thing. I'm going to do my thing. And then the hardest part is harmonizing it all and say,
Yeah.
okay, this works.
Yep.
You're right.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
You're right.
That is it. But if you have a bunch of a collective group lemon-like mentality thinking, then you get into these spaces where everything you're doing is waiting for other people's approval. And that's how that happens. But I don't stay in those spaces no more. Like just being comfortable, like, okay, my life is boring to a lot of people. You know, because I don't.
My life seems boring to
Yeah.
most people, too.
All of our lives are boring to people.
Yeah, but
Except the result part. Everyone likes that.
everyone likes.
But no one
results.
likes the mundane part of it. That's
No.
That's an amazing
But-
point. Because I've had people say that, like, why wouldn't you like vacation? The shit you do is the same thing every day.
But have we gotten to a space where we've told people that life is entertaining yourself?
Yes.
You know, so have we done that?
See, and we haven't put enough value on the ultimate win in life is when you're done with a complete day, like I referenced earlier, and you are content in your own space, and that feels just as good as being on a vacation. That's the ultimate win. That's when, like, you are.
That's the daily vacation. I'm sorry.
It's a daily vacation, but it's like you're living fulfilled by doing things that others look at as monotonous and boring, but because you're not conforming to standards of I need to show off or I need to show money, like I know I'm happy fucking doing me. Like, people don't understand it because they think, oh, you work so hard. Why the fuck don't you go out and buy a big ass fucking crib? Why don't you? Dude, I'm happy. Why don't you leave me alone?
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
Motherfucker.
Bitch.
Well, you know what's so interesting? Back to kind of what I said in my segment too is like yesterday, like if I'm in Ohio and we would record and I would have got in person to watch AG pitch last night, that would have felt just as good to me as vacation. Spending time with family, getting to do true mastermind, not some bullshit they show you on the internet like we're doing, like-minded thoughts and provoke and doing business like we did during the day. Dude, and I got to train in the morning. I literally am happy with that. Some people, it's so mundane because they don't like what they do that they can't identify with that. And I think that's where it's so different than societal shit, right?
So as you start saying that, it made me realize, like, even we have when I said it in this the entertainment piece,
yeah,
the approval is just another form of outside stimulation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just as much as
Right.
drugs may be, it's all altered by something external, when if we all broke it down to what we're talking about, everything is internal. Like,
Right.
to make yourself happy,
Right.
Sure.
to discover who you are, your gifts you have. Like, no matter what we all went through, we're like extending a sense of who we are to the world. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? It's something like when if you get back to all of our conversations and how you get into sales,
You're just
and how
expressing
you train,
it.
you're just expressing it in different ways. And I guess that's part of it. You know what I'm saying? Getting to know yourself in a busy world. And to say,
You gotta
like,
fight though. That's the thing. I think
keep
you gotta
yourself.
You gotta fight to keep yourself, but you have to fight a battle, especially as a young man or woman, to get to know yourself, because every force, God love them, your parents, like every force, they don't even know it. They're trying to influence you, and they don't want to. I don't think their intentions are to pull you away from yourself, but you have to fight to claim your territory and claim your space and live your life. And that's a fight. I think that's part of the big value of this conversation that most people lose.
I was just going to say,
most
it's a
people lose
losing
that
battle
fight
for most.
And I think 3 people are sitting at this table right now who have won that fight. And what it yields is the people that are still around, such high value for them, because you realize they ain't in it for anything but loving you.
Yeah.
And that's and that's, if it's 3 people, if it's 2, if it's 5, those are the only people I want in my life.
Yeah.
So it's like this filter, you know?
Brother, listen to me. I get it. I get it because I live it. You know, oftentimes I'm alone though now. More so, I think this may be one of the parts that I socialize with. You know what I'm saying? But I'm happy being alone, and not alone. Not that alone is a bad thing. You know, I just don't have.
Everyone at this table needs that time.
But I think that I think the to have the comfort. You know, I was once told when I was in prison, they say fools always need stimulation. You know, they say if you put a fool by himself,
Fucking fact.
if you put him in a room by himself, he have to bang on something. He has to listen to some music. He'll have to do something because he can't take the silence. And I think part of being in silent spaces in life, or being alone in life, is the process of knowing yourself. And
I search for that time
to have it, you know,
and value it.
Yes.
yeah. But
Because the busyness.
I want like the listener to get that and just ask yourself, like, man, do I always need my dudes around every weekend? Am I searching for like
Activity.
Cory and John?
Activity.
Hey, what you doing on Thursday, John? What you doing on Friday,
Right.
Cory? What club we going to on Sunday, or on Saturday? Then are we talking about it on Sunday?
I'll bring a 12-pack to your house
Yes.
to watch the game on Tuesday night. It's just this constant, and I brought this up on this show before. Like, I have a litmus test. I'll say it again. Like, any, like, let's say a woman I'd get serious with, I'll always ask her, like, hey, like, camouflage behavior. Hey, like, what do you do on Monday, Tuesday night? You hang out with your friends and stuff? And there's so many of them, like, and Mondays are this, Tuesdays are that. I'm like, get the fuck out of here,
You're
bitch.
like, I'm out on this
like,
one.
you're fucking a crazy bitch, okay? So, but the ones who are like, no, I like to go home, I like to read. I'm like, okay, she can, like you said in prison, she can be with herself. I think people who can be with themselves have at least dealt with part of their demons and part of the rough things that we all go through. Because if you can be alone with yourself and not always stimulate, that means you're experiencing some form of peace.
100%.
And the entertaining yourself is at the all-time high because of all the access.
It's blocking everything out.
Internet, games, movies. I mean, it's
Stimulus,
people.
stimulus.
It's constant
But
at the highest level
to-
ever
to
of
s-
our society.
to say it like this, just like drugs and alcohol are made for you to feel good, entertainment is to make you feel good.
Sure.
And sometimes we can manipulate ourselves and not understand the damage that we're doing with anything that you do, that it all makes me feel good, but it doesn't really deal with what you're ultimately supposed to be dealing with. And I think that's the development of who you are. I think that's every individual's like sole purpose is like, this is my life, this is who I am. And aside from all these external things, this is what I'm supposed to be like, sort of unfolding myself. And I think like that's it.
I feel so bad for people like 20 and under, because I think the biggest drug ruining the world is the smartphone. And I mean, these are facts that on average, it's being checked every 13 seconds. If that's not an addiction, like a fucking crackhead addiction, what is? What is? We were talking about Kevin Hart's comedy special when he took his phone away from his kid.
Yeah.
He's like,
The kid was like a crackhead.
kid was a straight crackhead.
Is that what he said?
Oh, absolutely.
I gotta watch it.
Man, why would you do that to me? But it's
It's
true.
true.
Think about having to check something. And
It's the scratch.
Jason's a great kid who works for him, but he's younger. And I asked him, I said, how often do you really check your phone? He's like, I probably can't go 10 seconds without touching it and scrolling. And I'm like, what are you scrolling for? He's like, I don't know.
He don't even know.
But he's comfortable enough with himself to be honest with me.
Hey, look, I can see his face when he said, I can see him like, I don't know.
Yeah, but he's being honest.
I
These
see.
other guys will lie. Oh, no, I don't do that. Okay, motherfucker, you go down a wormhole of Instagram while other people are getting after their goals, building businesses, and you wonder why you're fucking a flat, broke loser. It's because you're fucking looking at every fucking girl's butt on Instagram.
Entertaining.
You're looking at every dude that you want to be, and you just scroll. You're a scrolling fucking pussy. You know what I'm saying? Like, honestly, like, you're one of these dudes who just scrolls and scrolls, and you're nothing but a bitch. You know what I'm saying? Like, put your fucking phone down, get out there and do something. Look someone in the eye. Do what Mo said. Fucking walk in, greet someone. Like, live life.
Yeah.
Uh,
Quit being a fucking bitch.
That is going to be an amazing Instagram clip.
As you even said this, I said, man, are we like? I never would have
Right?
thought. I never would have thought like in 2019 we would be talking about like separating living off the internet from.
It's two different realities.
But I remember. Can you all remember when this is like 2005, 6 years when they were talking about, man, kids are in the house always playing video games.
Yep.
Sure.
That's transitioned to adults now. Just the conversation has switched into. Remember, adults used to talk to each other. You know what I'm saying? But that's like the same narrative before.
Well, I think
adults.
even texting is taken away because people used to call each other.
Yep.
Now, how often do you not talk to anyone?
I know people who won't take phone calls.
Yes.
And the younger generation especially, they won't take phone calls.
Yeah.
They only text. And it's like, you're a little pussy. It's like, pick up the phone and man up.
That's part of my
wonder-
point. So that's where it's heading. Or it's already there.
It's there.
It's already there.
No,
I know
yes.
people who won't talk.
Yeah.
What the fuck is wrong with you? You won't talk? No, seriously.
Yes.
You won't talk.
Yes.
Think about that for a minute. It's the deprogramming of the human mind.
I told you, as he was talking, I was like, are we really right here?
Oh, no, we are.
You won't talk. Fuck you,
We talk
dude.
about practice.
Hey,
That right
this.
there is a fucking
Yeah.
IG clip of all
You
time.
won't
Hey,
talk.
I think we should wrap it up, though.
There we go.
That was good, though.
was-
Guys, Johnny, there's some dynamic clips there towards the end. I'm pumped.
Hey.
Hey, it's brought to you by Square. Mo, do you know what Square is?
Yes, I know squares because I use it.
Yes. Just fucking with you. Listen, Square.com.
That was racist, I think.
That was not racist.
I think that was racist.
He's a black pirate. All right. Listen. All right. Square.com. They have an amazing system for invoicing. A lot of people only know them for the card reader, which we all originally know them from, but they have so many other things to offer at Square.com. One of the things is they can have your business look at the highest level of professionalism. Is that a thing? It is.
Yes.
With their
Absolutely.
invoicing system connected
Look
to
to
the
your
POS.
right, dude.
Yeah, exactly. John, I'm going to look to my right. Tell them about Square.
Listen, invoicing, you're talking about Square invoicing. Invoicing is a great thing. When you're invoicing, you're making money. right?
Absolutely.
And Square helps you make money. That's why I like Square. Everything they do assists businesses in making money and being more efficient. So always remember, if you're sending out an invoice, you're making
You're
money.
getting paid.
Hey, if you can't smile about that, what can you
And you
smile
got to look
about?
professional, so go to
So,
square.com.
but you know what? Pick up the phone. Don't text Square. Pick up the phone and call them and talk to someone over there.
There we go.
All right. Maurice Claret.
Yes.
Johnny Fosco. Can the podcast be stopped? The podcast can't